Hello everyone, Candice here with Foster 360, and I am here today with one of our amazing residents, Mariah. Thank you so much for being here. And we're continuing on the same theme. One of my passions is to really educate our audience on what it truly means to age out of foster care and to be in foster care in the first place. Mariah, we talked about it quite a bit. We know that there are some kids that are really lucky and they find amazing families and they find safety after, trauma and abuse. But it's not the case for everybody, right? And I'd love to find out from you what your journey was, being in foster care and then aging out. What happens when you turn 18?
Yeah, so I got into DCS at 11 years old. I was taken away from my mother for certain circumstances. But within that time, I didn't know what I was getting myself into at all. They pretty much put me in a group home with probably, I think, 13 other girls, and I was bullied majority of the time, pretty much the entire time I was in DCS, not knowing, not knowing what DCS was, and laughing about what are coping skills, and these girls have been there their whole life. And so growing up in it, even having a bad day, I felt like I wasn't obligated to have one, because then we would get written up or we would get transferred to a different group home because we're having too many outbursts. I was pretty much angry at the world, and it showed, and I put that out towards the girls and the staff and my team. It wasn't until I probably was 16, I was at lost count of how many group homes I was in, where I finally was like, you know what, this is not the path I want to choose for my life. And I pretty much was like, I want to do my passion, which was hair and makeup. So cosmetology, they started getting me into online classes when I was a junior. And then I didn't follow through with that because, again, living in a group home and trying to do your passion at the same time just didn't mix. A lot of the times, a lot of girls would get jealous, and because you're doing something and they're not, and they start to sabotage your stuff. And a lot of the time, there was almost a fight in every group home I went to. And that's not because I didn't know self-control. It's pretty much, you're in survivor mode pretty much the entire time because these girls don't know you and they don't care about you. And I think it's pretty much of trying to have that bond and friendship, and so you'll build it no matter what and try to figure out how, just to fit in and just to have a good day, and you shouldn't have to. So after I aged out, I turned 18, and I was in my very last group home, and they pretty much helped me, and I was going to EVIT at the time for cosmetology. And even then, I was in the independent living program that they had there. I was doing everything I needed to, and then when I turned 18, I decided to look into independent living to transition outwards so that I can continue my passion and work towards a career of it. And it did not work out because even when I went to independent living, it was not how they told me it was supposed to be. I felt neglected the entire time. There was no support that they had wrapped around it. I felt like they pretty much threw me out to the wolves because they practice a lot of skills and coping skills and life skills in independent living, but they don't teach you what it feels like in real life. Like, it's easier said than done. And I think that's where it played a big, huge role in it, where I just didn't know what I was doing. I pretty much forgot everything that I was taught. Because it's like, wow, like, this is real life again. Like, I'm an adult now. I don't know what to do. Like, so I started reaching out to different team members that I know that I've had over the time that pretty much helped me focus on what I needed to do. And so they pretty much were like, like, just stick through it, like, trying to give me advice. And I pretty much already knew that. But it's like, after a while, it just didn't fit me. And so I ended up becoming homeless after I left the independent living because there was nowhere else for me to go. My mom wasn't in the picture at the time, so I was pretty much living in her storage unit without her knowing. And without that time, like, I was living behind my job when I was working at McDonald's. Couldn't go to school anymore. It was just a lot. I was getting really emotional. And it's very hard because it's like, you don't know what to do, and you don't know who to go to when you have nobody. And so I think remembering those networks, after a while, I finally reached out to my mom. She let me stay on her couch for a while, but then I was like, you know what, this isn't ideal. My mom was in a one-bedroom apartment. Me living on the couch, I need my own privacy. I don't have money. I don't have actual money from my job, because I'm like working like 20 hours a week. Like, that's never nothing. And so at the time being, I was like, you know what? Let me reach back out to DCS. Let me reach back out to somebody that can help me because I know they have programs. I know they do. They wouldn't be telling me this for like 7 years being in DCS for no reason. So I was like, you know what? So the independent living specialist of Arizona, his name is, I forget his name, it's Mike something, and he's the one who I reached out to. I found his name under the Arizona Gov website. I was like, this is who I need to talk to. And he's the one who got me into Arizona Children's Association to get back on planning and pretty much just getting back to what I need to get done with counseling, therapy, obviously, because I still had a lot of pain and hurt that I didn't deal with while being in DCS, because you couldn't, again, like I said, like you weren't, I felt like I wasn't obligated to have a good day, because then I'm acting out, I'm having outbursts, I don't know how to control my anger, and I feel like I was just another case in any group home and being transferred to another after another. And so when I was finally able to finish out my counseling, I was like, you know what, like, I want to go into, I think I'm ready to finally learn to be in an actual place. And so my DCS worker, or my case manager at Arizona Children's was like, you know what, I know a program that might be beneficial to you because it seems like you like structure, but not the authority of it. Because, I never learned how to actually be able to speak to an adult in a way that came off as without being rude, just because I had so much hurt and pain in the past that it just never clicked with me. And so when I finally got reached out to Candace and I had the interview, I was like, and they were explaining the program to me, I'm like, this is what I was asking for when I first got out of DCS. This is what they told me I would be getting. And I couldn't be any more grateful to follow through with it. I was like, you know what? I will do everything I can to be here. I will do the program. I will follow all the rules. I'm like, this is my heaven. Like, I couldn't be any more grateful than where I'm at. And of course, we still have ups and downs because I wasn't able to finally be able to express my feelings, and then having it be okay to be able to express my feelings because I'm in a safe place here. And so it kind of took me by surprise when they weren't like, oh, well, you got to leave. And I'm like, they were just like, you know what? Like, it's okay. Like, is there anything else? And I'm like, wow, like, I feel heard here, and I think that's an important part with me because I felt like I had no voice in DCS. I felt like I was always advocating, but nobody was hearing me. And so I think that's a big role here as well that the staff here play, and I couldn't be any more grateful. So yeah.
Thank you so much. And this is, I like to speak a real language. I don't, I'm not into dog and pony shows,
Yeah.
right? I know that we're different.
Yeah.
I know that the efforts we have put for so many years now to really understand trauma is what makes us different. You alluded to it, but what is the major thing that is different about this program, Foster 360, compared to any other program you were there? If you could bring it down to one.
Probably how genuine you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
You guys speak. And I feel like as far as actions go, actions speak louder than words. And I feel like both your words and actions are at the same level every single time. And I think that's where it shows consistency, and that's where I could show gratitude at.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There is one other misconception that's out there is, when you have a program like this, people think that that's it. You guys feel safe, you're good, and everybody's happy. And it couldn't be further from the truth. When you understand trauma, you understand that this is about brain physiology. And brain physiology, specifically neural pathways, they don't change overnight. They don't change in a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
So you've been here, 7 months?
7 months.
Are you still at times, and please be honest because it's a normal thing, are you still in fight or flight mode?
I think majority of the time I'm okay, but sometimes when I get in that mindset where I'm just like, I think I'm getting too much freedom, I want to be in flight mode, because I'm like, you know what, like I'm finally getting money, I think I'm ready to go, and then it's like no. And sometimes I get scared being in a place where it's so structured yet so free, I think that it kind of scares me sometimes, like I might not make it. And I think with the staff here being able to express that, I think they really help me set some boundaries for myself and some ground rules that really benefit me, not so much the other residents around it. It's mainly just focused on me because I'm here for myself at the end of the day. And I think it's very important that they sit here and show me that, and they're able to educate me on what I can be doing rather than worrying about the past or what I could be doing 5 months from now, just being in the present and what I should be doing.
No, and that is so true. You said it. Modeling is part of trauma-informed care. It's a very important component, and I appreciate you saying that, because that is really what we are all about. It's about teaching you what to do with your freedom. It's true. It would be so much easier for us to turn this into another group home and put all these rules and all these things, right? But then we're not helping you. We need to help you to know what to do with your freedom.
Exactly.
And so this is a longer process. So that's why our program is 2 years long. That's the reason why, because we want to give you that time, right?
Yeah. And I think with being at 2 years, I think a lot of people open their eyes. They're like, why? And I'm like, I don't think you realize how much I've learned in 7 months that I did my entire life. And I think it's benefited me, like, in, I don't even know the word, like, I love it. I couldn't even be more grateful. So within the 2-year mark, I'm like, I know I'm going to be self-sufficient by then. I might not be at the top of it, but at least I'll be somewhere.
Am I at the top of it? No.
That's what I'm saying. At least I'll be able to still have that education and mindset to be able to grow continuously even after. So I think that's what's important to me here.
Absolutely. And so in closing, Mariah, I would like to acknowledge you, because you've been with us for a while now, and you now have an amazing job at a high-end hair salon in Scottsdale, Society Salon. You started off as a paid internship, and they really love you. I just spoke to your boss a few minutes ago. They really appreciate you. They are in the process of hiring you, right?
Yep.
And then there are some opportunities for you to also convert some of the schooling you have done around cosmetology and be able to continue it while you are employed. So the sky is the limit for you, and you are already on an amazing path.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I want to acknowledge you for that, because we understand how much it takes for you guys to trust yet another person, yet another program, and to also accept how uncomfortable change can be.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It is. So thank you, Mariah. I really
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much.